الصف التاسع الأساسي، كتاب اللغة الإنكليزية، الوحدة التعليمية الثانية، الدرس الرابع. تقدمت مبادرة ضوء بصوت ريم سروجي. يغطي هذا التسجيل صفحة 34 و 35 من كتاب الطالب، وصفحة 22 و 23 من كتاب الأنشطة. النص الثاني. The story of cities. About cities. What is a city? Traffic, noise and pollution, or power, commerce and culture? In fact, cities have always had these two sides, even in ancient times. Why cities developed? Thousands of years ago, cities developed when farming communities produced more than they needed. Some people stopped being farmers and specialized in making, building and trading. These people started to live together in large groups, and some of these places become cities, centers of power. Where cities developed. Many cities were built up around holy places and contain important religious buildings. Cities were also built in safe places that were easy to defend, such as hills and plains. Cities must have water, and so they are often built along rivers. Some cities like London and Paris have developed around the easiest place cross a river. Others like Amsterdam were built by the sea so that people could trade. The Arab world. Some of the oldest cities are in the Arab world. Jericho in Palestine is perhaps the oldest settlement in the world, dating back to 9000 BCE. The world's oldest capital city is Damascus, which has been inhabited for about 4,500 years. Babylon dates back to over 3000 BCE and was destroyed and rebuilt several times. Many Islamic cities were built around palaces, mosques, public buildings, and markets. The design of cities. To ancient travelers, arriving at a city was an incredible experience. They would see huge walls rising up. People came and went through gates. In times of war, the gates were closed. The architecture of cities tells us about the climate. Streets were built so they were cooled by winds or protected people from sun and rain. All cities have a network of streets so people, goods, water, and information can flow easily. Modern cities have wide roads, fast tramways, and underground trains, but early cities had narrow streets. How cities are organized. Without laws and rules, many cities would become dangerous and difficult to control. In ancient cities, a ruler controlled many aspects of life. All citizens had to obey the rules of the city. Modern cities have police courts and prisons to control criminals, but even early cities have made laws about how people should live. Vocabulary. Towns and cities, sports center, town hall, theater, bank. Number 1 is before you read and work in pairs. Number 2, read the article and complete the summary using the words in the box. Then listen and check. كلمات: developing, oldest, plains, rivers, rules, safe, specialized, streets, walls. Cities started. فراغ. The answer is developing. When some farming people found time to. فراغ. The answer is specialize. They grew up in. فراغ. The answer is safe. Suitable places such as by. فراغ. The answer is rivers. or the sea or on hills and فراغ the answer is plains. The Arab world has some of the فراغ the answer is oldest cities in the world. Jericho was first built 11,000 years ago. Early cities had فراغ the answer is walls and gates to protect them. And all cities have فراغ the answer is streets to allow for movements. There have to be فراغ the answer is rules in cities or there would be no order. Exercise 3 is over to you. Exercise number 4. Complete these sentences from the article. فراغ the answer is some people stopped being farmers. Number 2. فراغ the answer is some of these places became cities. Number 3. فراغ the answer is many cities have built up around holy places. Number 4. فراغ the answer is many Islamic cities were built around palaces. Number 5. فراغ the answer is all cities have networks of streets. Number 6. Without laws and rules فراغ the answer is many cities would become dangerous. Number 7. A ruler controlled فراغ the answer is all aspects of life. Number 5. Find these words and expressions from 1 to 5 in the article, then match them with their use. Number 1. The Arab world is with the use for the regions such as the north. Number 2. A gate is with E. The answer is use the first time you mention something. Number 3. Cities, farmers, streets. The answer is A. Use the plural for talking in general without the. Number 4. A river, a city. The answer is B. Use a for one of many possible examples. Number 5. The gates. And the answer is D. Use the second time you mention something. ننتقل إلى كتاب الأنشطة صفحة 22. Skills development. We have reading. Tokyo. Tokyo is one of the largest cities in the world. It is a city of great contrasts. Busy motorways and crowded underground trains carry people to and from huge office blocks and factories every day. The streets are noisy and full of people, but just around the corner you can find peaceful squares and quiet places where life seems unhurried and unchanged for centuries. Tokyo really is a combination of the old and the new, the traditional and the modern. Harajuku, for example, is an area famous for teenage culture. The streets are full of fashion shops and fast food restaurants, and many of Tokyo's most fashionable young people come here to shop. Asakusa, on the other hand, is a district that is still traditional in many ways. One of the most beautiful temples, Sensoji, can be found here. It was built in the 7th century and is Japan's oldest and most famous temple. To reach it, walk down the street called Nakamichi. This street still sells traditional silk dresses, Japanese fans, and local snacks. Nakama is the street's Tokyo News area, built in 2003, is a city inside a city. It's called Roppongi Hills and consists of 4 blocks of flats built around the Mori Tower, which is a 54-story skyscraper. Traveling around Tokyo is an experience that will take you from the past into the future, from one century into the next in a day. Number 1. Read the article and answer the questions. Number 1. What is Tokyo a combination of? The answer is the old and the new, the traditional and the modern. Number 2. What is the main activity in Harajuku? The answer is young people come here to shop. Number 3. What kind of building is Sensoji? The answer is a temple. Number 4. What 2 traditional Japanese souvenirs can you buy in Asakusa? Number 4. The answer is traditional silk dresses and fans. Number 5. Why is traveling around Tokyo like time travel? The answer is because it is an experience that will take you from the past into the future in one day. Exercise number 2. Find words in the article which means. Number 1. Opposites. The answer is contrasts. Number 2. Slow. The answer is unhurried. Number 3. Small meals. The answer is snacks. Number 4. Very tall building. The answer is skyscraper. Number 5. Levels of a building. The answer is stories. Number 3 is over to you. Now we have writing. في عنا قصة ورح نوصل للعناوين لهالقصة. رح أقرأ النص. We were studying the history of Palmyra and we were going to draw a picture of the old arcs in our notebooks. It was fascinating and interesting day out and we learned a lot about the history of our country. See, about a month ago, our class went on a school trip to see the ancient ruins in Palmyra. As we were walking around admiring the ruins, we met a group of tourists. They told us they were on a study tour of Syria and Lebanon. We told them about the history of the Temple of Bel and the Arab castle, and they said that we were very good guides. We set off for Palmyra in a bus. It took us about 2 hours to drive there. As we reached the city, we saw the seal court of the Arab castle of the hill above, the huge colonnades. It was really magnificent. The questions: which town or city did you go to? Who did you go with? When did you go? Why did you visit it? How did you get there? The answer is A is for 2, B is for 5, C is for 1, D is for 4 and E is for 3. نهاية التسجيل.